Everybody, what you're about to see is a spoiler-free review and discussion of the movie, followed by a spoiler-heavy review of the movie in which we will be splicing in clips of our reaction. Yes, Universal is actually allowing us to play clips of our reaction. However, this video is not going to be replacing the official reaction. That is going to come out whenever Wolfman releases on streaming. So please, with that in mind, enjoy this video. Hopefully this preamble helps you out. Do not miss this movie in theaters. All right? 3, 2, 1. Hey! We're the normies. We just watched Wolfman, brand new horror film by Leigh Whannell. Yes. I know I'm not saying that name right? But I'm Suraj.
I'm Pat.
Navi. Ketty.
Chris.
We do have a reaction to this film.
Yes.
But you guys will not see it until this movie officially releases on streaming. Maybe
it's just how it works.
Some uncuts for our members or whatnot. But whenever that comes out, eventually, we will have this available as a reaction. For now, you're getting our immediate thoughts and review after seeing the movie. So we're going to start off spoiler-free for the first few minutes and give you our thoughts. That way you can come back if you haven't seen it yet and then watch the spoilery review at the end.
Wolfman 2025 is an upcoming American horror film directed by Leigh Whannell. It's not upcoming anymore, it's out.
It came.
Out.
Who co-wrote it with Colbert Tuck, a reboot of Wolfman from 1941. Stars Christopher Abbott, Julia Garner, Matilda Firth, and Sam Yeager.
So 5 characters total in this movie, and they wasted no time.
No.
Not at all.
I think just some quick highlights for me, and then I can let you guys know. Like, the reason why I'm saying you have to see this in theaters is because of the sound design. And here, I try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible.
Yeah.
The sound design, the Wolfman, you know it's about a Wolfman. I will say it's the most realistic transformation you'll ever see that's ever been done, that's ever been put to film. Hands down.
Horrifying.
Real-life
Horrifying.
prosthetics with CGI mixed in, just incredible. And the score was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
For me, it was, again, the sound design. That's what got me jumping.
Yeah. There's like barely any dialogue in this movie. It's all sound and running. Like, I don't remember a full sentences being said. Besides in the beginning of the movie, it was just terrifying. I think anything filmed in the dark is always terrifying. And they used they did a very good job of using corners that were like completely dark. Oh my God.
Haunting of Hill House trained me to look for stuff.
Really? Yeah, because you were noticing like things in the corner. I was like, oh my God! Yeah, no, terrifying. And yeah, like I think the wolf transition was the best we have seen.
It's gone back?
No, he is not.
Oh, no.
Ah! Nope. I'm not looking. I did not see that.
Okay, 2 things. One, on the transition, I thought it was awesome, but I have also seen American Werewolf in London, like back when I was younger, and that transformation is like it's on the level of the movie The Thing.
Oh yeah?
It's on that level. So I think this is really good, especially for a modern day audience, and they have the practical mixed in with the CGI as well, but like that old school like Thing those type of transformations get me.
But that's more like gross out, right? This was drawn out.
Yeah. That one is like, hey, here's the set piece that's happening. This one is like, every time they cut back to him, have you guys ever seen The Fly?
Yeah.
With Jeff Goldblum,
Yeah.
like every time it cuts back to him, you just look a little grosser and a little sicker, and then you get that one big one. I think a really good horror movie has to have a good enough like hook for story like tied in, and the idea that like this father's like, hey, like they didn't even give you the dad's full backstory. We're still speculating on what happened, but the dad's like, hey, look, I love you and I want to protect you. That's all I want to do. And like, there's something out here in the woods, and like we got to get it. And then like you get the new age dad, who's like this millennial dad, who's like, you know, like pretty chill at parenting. He flips out a couple of times. He's like, no, that's not me. I don't want that. And then like he becomes the problem. You know what I mean? So like the movie gets you hooked in there. I was saying that even if it didn't have a werewolf involved, it would have that same vibe still, because the hook is there. And the hook is that like, hey, this dude who loves and wants to protect his family is becoming the thing that destroys his family. How will we stop it? And like that is a good enough hook, and then add werewolves, and it's like, oh, here we go.
I think we wanted to avoid a lot of the really well-trodden tropes and stick to the story, which is essentially about transformation and a marriage falling apart.
Obviously, writing is strong and acting is very strong. You care about these characters right away. They spend some time to make you care about the characters, but it's totally worth it. You know, it all comes around and it makes it all nice and emotional at the end.
We just didn't want it to feel like a retread. We wanted to really put our effort into the story bit, making it personal and human.
Like, you could see it at home, but some of those effects of, let's just say, what it sounds like if you were to be a werewolf hearing yourself transform, you're literally not gonna hear that at home.
You know what?
That's why you gotta go check this shit out. This is horror. This is classy horror. This is like art horror.
I don't know if y'all have ever been to like middle of the woods by yourself. Ooh. But the amount of things you hear that just sends shivers down your spine is insane, and you don't need to have a wolf hearing.
I joked about
like, okay, I'm fucking scared.
I joked about Marquette's Village, but the first night that like I stayed there because it's closest to the woods, I was like, no, there are sounds out there. There's shit happening out there. And she's like, it stays out there and we stay in here. And then me, Marquette, and Nev all went camping once, and there were sounds. There was shit outside that sounded like, we were all like, guys, do you hear that? And like, Siege was like, let's go check. And I was like, I'm not leaving this tent. Like, whatever's happening out there is happening out there. And so like that fear of the woods is like, I feel like ingrained into people as a survival thing. And if you've ever been in the woods long enough, you've heard stuff and you're like, I can't explain that. And then your brain makes up the worst.
Even when we went to Gatlinburg, it's like in the cabins, like if you be quiet enough, you will hear things rustling, and it's like it's out there, and you just don't mess with it.
Another thing about just the use of the woods in this movie is, if you like Leigh Whannell, by the way, Saw and Insidious fame, if you like those types of shots in Insidious where the camera's kind of panning or hanging, and there's so many objects, and it takes your eyes a second to see that there was someone standing right there in the frame. If you like that kind of shit, the use of that with the woods as a backdrop is
scary.
As awesome as you might think it might be.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, hell no!
Nah, there was nothing.
Dude, if that's how they're doing this?
Oh my God, he's there on the stairs.
God, what a great framing.
Oh my God.
Holy shit, dude.
They do a good job with the tension. They do a good job with the subtle scares. And I think, too, for me, I'm old. I'm an elder millennial. That lingering camera, those cuts that won't cut, the like when he's so there's a hunter in this movie when he's looking through the scope. That's when the peripherals are closed off, so all you have is this circle, and it like reveals the screen as you do it. And then sometimes you get something kind of scary, and sometimes you don't. And it's like, no, like that from the beginning of the movie's teaching you to like, hey, things are gonna happen kind of slowly sometimes, and like you need to be on the watch, and that keeps that tension high in you. That whenever things slow down, even you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen?
Yeah. Are we getting into spoiler zone?
Honestly, we've kept it spoiler free so far. So anything else we want to say, wrap up to entice them to go see it if they haven't yet.
Go see it.
We're not being like endorsed or anything. Like, sure, we got this opportunity to see it, but this was a treat, man. This was a great movie.
It was great, and definitely go see it in the theaters because it's different.
It is different.
It's very
feels
different.
like things are happening behind you, in front of you,
Sides,
under you.
right? Like things are moving from the sides,
Yeah.
like moving on. I think we watch on our own room so often that we don't watch in theaters. So when we are watching, we're like, oh my God, this is
It's darker in here.
intense.
It's
I don't think
different.
the last time I saw a scary movie in theaters.
Don't do drugs and go to see this movie.
Or do?
Don't.
Maybe
No, don't.
Want the
That
other
would be a bad trip.
Yeah, let's get into a little bit of spoilers. We won't talk too long. So here's a warning.
Yeah.
The little Saw reference was really cool. Like, I like when
You
the
think it
director.
really was one?
The
It 100% was one
Nine.
because Leigh Whannell played the character that did that exact thing.
Yeah.
And it
gotcha.
was a chain that was hooked
that's-
onto the ankle, and it was the same leg, and it was.
He cut off his leg,
Saw!
bro. That's crazy. Cut off his fucking knee.
That's gotta be.
was
That's gotta be a nod.
Travis like first.
I just love that a film. He's gotten to the point where he did such a small nod to it that only the true people that have seen Saw
Know
many
it.
times would really know and catch that.
Yeah.
I just love him for it. He's just got such a iconic filmography now that I'm gonna see anything he does. He's up there with me now. Like after this.
Oh
one.
Yeah.
I
For
think
like all the greats.
for me, it's whoever did the cinematography and some of those crazy camera movements when he's really like kind of swaying and the camera's swaying with him. I don't think I've ever seen that before to really like put you in his seat. And then also the car crash. We get a lot of movie car crashes. This one was one that I was,
Yeah.
God, fuck, it's happening.
That was the most
visceral. Like,
really
Jesus.
unexpected because you don't really see car accident happening in a horror movie until like they're escaping and things are happening. He was like, just going, you know, we'll get to the cabin and things will happen after we get there.
Well, it hit that car crash and it was all go.
That
It was
was
just like,
where
now
it's
it's
like,
happening now.
it's something so simple and small, like 4 characters, car crash in the woods, but the way it was shot was so intense that like
It was the
I know
camera
it wasn't
above.
simple, but it almost felt like the Jurassic Park 1 scene when the
when the
van
car
was
stuck.
falling down.
Falling down.
That's how intense it felt. And when you can just keep the setting grounded and simple, you don't need much budget. Like you can just light it in a certain way, shoot it in a certain way to just make it so tense.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's intense.
You gonna leave him out there?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
What do you want him to do, Pat? How are you gonna grab him?
He'll never forgive you.
Oh.
Bro.
We better pray to whoever. We out of here.
I like that we're not seeing it right away.
I think one thing that made this movie really stand out for me is that this is the first time we have really seen a transformation perspective happening from the
wolf's perspective.
transforming.
Yeah. That part was sick.
And I think I heard you guys doing reactions like even with the zombie one, like that's something we haven't seen. So like just seeing it from their side. Damn. They're trying to communicate. They can't. They're losing their sense. They're hearing more things than they would. And obviously, if you can hear a spider crawling, you will
the spider
go crazy.
scene,
That was
that's gonna live rent free in my head forever.
Exactly. It's like if that will drive you crazy, then like obviously everything else out there is hearing everything.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like a possum or a
That's what I was thinking. It was gonna be like a bigger animal.
Yeah,
like
so
that.
when it ended up being just a spider,
Like
I
a
was
tarantula. It's like, what?
It's in the house.
Where's your flashlight?
It must be a small creature or something.
Oh, fucking spider.
That's how loud that is to him.
Oh, wow. He is turning. No.
He's not turning. He's turned.
That was intense, and I think I would love to see that more happen in other zombies' perspective also. Because they slowly like lose their conscience, like something happens to them, and then, like what does that look like?
Like watching someone slowly lose their humanity is dope, but also like the scene of the reveal for like you wake up in his perspective, and I was like, oh, what time is it? Because I was like, it's like blue hour. It must be like the sun's about to come up.
Yeah.
And he's like, how come he can't understand what his wife's saying? She's just saying gibberish. And then like as you start to like pull off the reveal, you're like, oh. This is his perspective.
Yeah.
He can't understand it. She's like, he
dark
doesn't
still.
know he's sick. It's pitch dark. And she's like, and he's not talking anymore. And then you're like, he's standing right there. She can't see him. She didn't hear him come down there. Like,
It's
he got
terrifying.
scratched and the turn was on.
I
bro.
saw glimpses of so many iconic movies. Like I saw a little bit of Silence of the Lambs there.
Yeah.
With that, I can't see him in the dark. The finale with Clarice. So I felt like a true filmmaker giving nods to all the things that he loved.
I think it was really good.
Even that shot, the Jurassic Park shot we were talking about with the car, it felt like a oneer for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was kind of weaving in and
yep.
out of the windows while precariously stuck in a tree. Very clever stuff.
It was really good.
I just want to give a shout out to Living Room Theaters, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
That's where we are. There's only a handful throughout the country, so please check if there's one near you. We had Eats.
We did.
We had Stress Pizza.
Why would you do that? That was horrible move.
Fuck. Stress Pizza.
Stretch pizza,
Yeah.
gobbled up some popcorn back there. They put the butter on it fresh. You watch them put the butter on it and booze.
Stress Pizza.
And booze,
And
so it
booze.
helps. I mean, I love that it's called living room theater because it's kind of like a living room. You can eat it while you're watching it.
Kathy got her toes out.
Toes
I got
out.
my
Yeah.
toes
What's out?
You can actually have
What's that toes
wine.
out?
Oh no. Why did you call attention to it?
So,
But yeah,
White
no, this
socks.
movie was insane. I think what other thing that changes this movie, they're not really werewolves. It's not, full moon is happening and then they're transforming.
It can happen anytime.
They are like wolfman, like it's a disease that is somehow transforming them
They're
into
like-
just creatures.
God, I've never wanted someone to get out so bad.
I keep thinking there's something moving out there.
I swear, it's like a cameraman or something.
Is this what Sasquatch is?
Bro,
No, Sasquatch is the missing link, and he's real.
Yeah, Bigfoot's real.
Quasimodo.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
They did a
this
good
was
job
like-
because, like, when they do the thing with the zombies, like, oh, they're not zombies, they're infected. They've never really given that treatment to another horror movie thing. And for this one, it's like, I mean, yeah, sure, it's a werewolf thing, but, like, I don't know, like, you know, he's infected, like, he's sick, and werewolves.
Starting from it was when the tooth came out that I was finding like,
Yeah.
I really didn't get it until the tooth, and then when obviously.
I just from because his dad, it was like, oh, this is about like how his dad traumatized him, and I was like, he's gonna traumatize his kid.
Yeah.
And if his dad's traumatizing him on some werewolf shit, then that's how he'll do it.
That's his dad.
Oh, that's his dad.
Oh my God!
In his transformation, he realizes it too. I love like the less we know, the better too. Like, don't
Yeah.
over-explain this
Yeah.
shit. This is this is a weird part of town that no one lives in this side of the country
Yeah.
anymore, man.
Yeah, and they don't like have a big explanation of what's happening.
Nope.
We don't need to do a big explanation of like what it might be happening. Like we're just going along with it.
I
Like,
do think that the kid actress was very good.
She
The
was.
whole little trope
was.
of them saying like, "I know what you're thinking" was very touching, and then it
So
made the
cute.
end so sad.
Right.
man.
Right.
Like, I
He's
was gonna
thinking
cry,
end it.
man. I know Corey would probably cry watching this movie. This is sad as
it
fuck.
was so sad.
It's like a little fan because like you root for them in the end. They're like not they're not horrible people. It's just a relatable problem. Oh, years go by, you drift apart, you're kind of, and then they realize, no, like I want to be with you, and it's
and
Then they realize to be together, and that's what happens.
very
Yeah.
subtle, not too much, but just enough.
yeah,
really.
and not only that, like with Julia Garner, Ruth, like just
Ruth?
I mean, we just gonna keep calling her Ruth. Like she has that moment with her husband. At the beginning, it was like, oh, my daughter loves you more than me. So like in the end, when it's just her, she
Hurts
is
even harder.
doing some actions to kind of make sure my daughter understands that she's not pushing him out. Like it's just the circumstantial, and they kind of end up seeing eye to eye. Like, okay, yeah, we gotta make these decisions. So like that kind of relationship was good, and obviously I'm glad that they didn't harp on too much. The daughter like, oh my God, you were the bad mother, blah blah blah. I was like, no. She understands what's going on. Like she's a smart kid.
Yeah.
It's just it takes a second, but yeah, she's understanding. Do we want to do scoring?
Oh yeah, sure.
I'd say 5 out of 5, bro. That's it.
The only thing I will say about it, I will give it like 4.5 because I do want to know more about the Hill's fever.
4.5 out of what?
5. Out of 5 because like I know they talked about in the beginning 1995 the hiker went missing, he got a hill fever. Like where did that originated? And I don't know if it's pertinent for us to see the original Wolfman, if it's the exact same copy or that had more information. I think we know it now. Like it's happening. I guess he's dead. Are we done? Like is there more? Like are we gonna take that body back and do something? Like I guess for me, I will always want to know more of an origin story or
Just
just
because
a
it
little
makes
bit
it
more
less
on
scary.
it.
Yeah.
I know,
more
but
you
I
know.
just want to know it. Like,
Yeah.
what is it? What's happening
In
here?
the end, Ginger got more closure though than he did. Like,
Oh, for
she
sure.
saw him die, and at least she like read his thoughts and was like, he's ready to go. So
Yeah.
it was somewhat of a goodbye.
Yeah.
So it is traumatizing, but it could have been a worse
Oh, for
trauma.
sure.
She might get over this.
Yeah, if they left him out there and never knew, then she would grown up and be like, oh, we could have helped her.
Yeah.
So that's what I view it more. I see what you're saying with the lore,
Yeah.
but I like the character driven part
Yeah.
of this.
I mean, I'm thinking
Yeah,
0.5.
same
Like,
here.
still, it's pivotal.
yeah, for sure.
I
No,
give
you're
it
horrible.
12 werewolves out of 13. I think it was
even
great,
less than mine.
super fun. I like a good horror movie, as you guys know. And you know what? Comments. All say it in the comments. We should watch American Werewolf in London. We should watch American Werewolf in London. There you go. It's in the comments now. It's in the comments now. It's in the comments now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. We have
Katie?
enough horror movies.
I don't know what that means.
I love this movie. I think it's definitely 5 out of 5. And I mean, I understand what you're saying, Navi. I would love to know more too, but I think that for the story as it was presented, it was perfect.
Yeah, that's true.
And if anything, I would love to know more about like if the werewolf father still understood where he was and what he was doing, if his intention was actually to try and get him out of the house so he doesn't hurt his family.
Yeah.
Because
Like-
he was dragging him out of the house. He
Yeah,
was
how
trying to kill
much
him.
like their like self-awareness is left in them
Yeah.
after transformation, because it looked like the main character was coming in and out, because
Yeah.
sometimes he was able to even hear when she said I love you, but then like towards the end when you saw their faces, and that was my favorite effect, when you saw their faces and they looked like dolls. They didn't look human
Yeah.
to
As
him.
the camera would shift too when it would transition.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
That was great because like it's showing that not only even if you remember it, they don't look the same until like very specific. But yeah,
they look like dolls.
Yeah, they look
scary.
very weird.
What do you give it, Pat?
I'll give it a 5 just because of the stuff that I've never seen before. The perspective of being a wolfman and seeing how they hear things and see things. Because I always heard like dogs don't have the perfect vision, so them not having good vision. And then also the fact of the sound design. I think if we were to watch this in the studio, I don't think I would have been as scared. But watching it here, it just I don't know how they got the sound.
Guess we're setting this around sound in the studio.
Oh my God!
As simple as
Aliens.
like the classic howl. Like they know like oh that happens, but it's so cool. But like it was like it was a growl. Then it turned. It growls, screech, turned into the howl. Like I don't know how they did that in the sound design. Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Scary.
Go see this movie, y'all. Thank you, Living Room Theaters, once again, and Universal for any footage you may or may not have allowed us to use. Guys, be on the lookout for the reaction whenever this comes out on streaming, which lately these days is pretty quick.
Yeah.
We'll see it on the Year tab. And let us know if you like this. Bye.
Bye.